Raphael Fellmer will be our next speaker before we have our lunch break. And Raphael is a young entrepreneur, and already a couple of years ago I learned from Raphael and his very, very, very special way of life on the radio. The media really have been following his path because it's so unusual. And I'm very excited now that we have him here. He will talk here today on his very special experiences of 5 years living without money and then deciding to become an entrepreneur. And he will be here only shortly because this evening he is going into the Cave of the Lion. It's a German program on television, and maybe you like to share what inspires you to go there and talk there as well. Raphael, I think you have.
Thank you, dear. So yeah, timing. So we're a little bit delayed now, but yeah, we'll just make the most of it. First of all, thank you all for being here, for being here in this room, for being present in your company, in your organization, wherever you are contributing with your ideas and with your spirit to transform capitalism towards a more sustainable future, because we need everyone in this room and actually everyone on this planet right now more than ever to find a solution for the biggest challenge we have on Earth, which is making or creating a world where we as one species out of million here on this planet can continue to thrive. And I have to start with something what moved me a lot. 5 weeks ago, I received a letter from my bank. It's a GLS bank. It's a big organic kind of sustainable bank in Germany. And they said they're going to close down on 20th of September. I said, like, what, they're going to close down? How is that possible? And they said, yeah, we're going to go on a strike. Because on the 20th of September, there's the big global climate strike. Everybody has heard about Greta, Fridays for Future, and there are actually millions of people right now in these movements. There's scientists for future, there's entrepreneurs for future, parents for future, and they're growing and growing. And it's not a movement anymore of the kids telling the adults, please listen to the scientists and act according, and don't postpone it to the next decade or just do some little steps. We need huge steps, and from everyone on this world. And so when I was reading this, we are right now in a company situation where we are making just thousands of euros minus. So yeah, we need to put money into our company every day. And so I thought, like, yeah, I would love to close down our businesses as well. We have 3 supermarkets and 1 online shop and a warehouse and an office. But yeah, we cannot do it. But then I was reflecting about it more and more. And I felt what I couldn't do is to just say we continue business as usual. Even if we are saving food with our business, we need to stand up. And last Friday, more than 4 million people on this planet stood up, not only children, but entrepreneurs, organizations, people from all ages. And they said, we need to act right now. And so alone in Germany, 1.4 million people said, please, government, please people, please companies, do something about it. Because right now we are kind of like burning our planet, and it's the only planet which we know where we can live. And it's not only about protecting the environment so that this other species can continue to survive and yeah, don't just get extinct. But right now we are in this situation since the dinosaurs 65 million years ago were extinct, that we are in the biggest mass extinction period which was created by us, not by a meteorite or asteroid, but by us, by how we are treating our planet. And so I was yeah, getting a lot of hope on this Friday, seeing all these beautiful people and not crying and not being sad about it, but seeing that change is coming and change is more powerful than ever. And right now we are living in the strongest transformation of history of humanity. And I think it's beautiful that you're gathering here to see what you can do as well. And I'm going to share with you a little story how I became a social entrepreneur. So in 2009, I watched a video on YouTube, and people, they were getting food out of a bin which was still edible. And I thought, how is it possible that we are throwing food away while 800 million people are starving every day? Millions don't make it this year and will die because they don't have enough food. And we are throwing food away, which is edible. That was not acceptable for me. I didn't learn about it in school, neither in university. And today I know that 50% of all food in Europe and in Northern America is not eaten. So with all the food waste we have in the world, we could feed all hungry people 4 times over. So we don't have too less food or food shortage. We have just way too much food, but we are not using it. We are wasting it in on every step in the supply chain. And 2009, it was 10 years ago, I was thinking, okay, what could I do? And I became a dumpster diver. Anybody of you has been dumpster diving? You? Okay. It's very, very impressive experience, because you're like, that's not possible. How can somebody throw this away? This is a perfect apple, maybe a little bit older and not completely fresh, or a product which just expired. So even this water here has an expiration date. So in July 2021, this is expired, and no store will sell it anymore. But actually, this water and most of other products which have the best before date, they're still edible months and sometimes years after the best before date. It's just that these companies who are producing the food, they put a big buffer in before the product actually gets bad. So trust your own senses, look at the product, smell it, open it, and then taste it. You don't have to drink like a beer or any other product which is expired entirely. Just make a sip of a yogurt, of a milk, or whatever product, and your body will feel directly if it's still good or bad. That was what we were doing for thousands of years. And now we lost our trust in our own senses. And I wanted to do something about this problem. So I started a moneyless journey from the Netherlands to Mexico. So we hitchhiked and we boat hiked, and we made it there actually. It took us a little bit longer than expected. So we wanted to arrive there for 2 weddings, which were the initial call of destiny to go to Mexico. And we arrived 6 months later. But that's not a problem, because sometimes, you know, the way is the destiny. What we learned during this 9 months traveling to Mexico was so impressive, and we learned about, first of all, that everything is possible. So everything what you have in mind, like this conference here, I don't know who was it, but there were some genius minds who said, let's do this conference, let's bring people together, and this is actually about all other things which are happening in your company, and also the founders of the companies you're working in, they had this idea in mind. And so believe in your dreams, believe in your vision, and go for it. And you will fail, and you will fail again, and you have to stand up again like a little baby, which is not afraid of failing. And one day they are able to walk. And today we are 7.5 billion people walking on this planet, and we all have to put our hands together to solve this issue. And I didn't only want to do this moneyless journey as an experience and to learn as well that humans are so beautiful, even if you don't know the culture, if you're maybe afraid of other countries and you don't know how they react, or if they're going to steal you something. No, people are so generous, and if you approach them with a smile and see the good in them, that you will also find it. So I decided on the sailing boat towards Brazil that I want to go in a money strike. So it was not a hunger strike, it was a money strike to raise awareness. And I was maybe too early, or I don't know, it's better that Greta is doing it now, and that everybody really walks on the streets and pushes companies and the politicians towards action. But it was also my attempt, and I wanted to raise awareness with this money strike. It's not only about food waste, and that's 1.6 billion tons every year. It's $1,200 billion every year which we are wasting. But we're wasting so much more. Clothes, we are wasting spaces, so like rooms which are not used. We are wasting books and every other resource you can actually imagine. And if we want to continue to live here as a species, we are a guest here on this planet. The planet Earth will survive as well without us. But if we want to continue to live here and thrive, we have to do something. So I was living 5 years without money. I was traveling later back to Germany. I became father with my wonderful wife, which had all the difficult times with me because I was very stubborn and very dogmatic and very extreme. I turned vegan, which I am still vegan because I don't know if you heard about it, but actually what we eat has to do something with the environment. So if we all want to reduce our carbon footprint of our companies, don't forget about yourself. So what could you do? For sure you have to fly sometimes. For sure you have to buy new things, but every time when you buy something, it's like a vote. You can choose for a company, or you can say, I don't want to eat a dead animal because that's not what I need. And actually there are right now millions of people around the world who choose for a vegan option. It's not only a very healthy one, but also the one with the lowest carbon footprint. And anyway, my wife helped me a lot during this 5 years because I think I learned as well from her that I don't need to be so dogmatic to change this world. I wrote a book about it. Then I created the food sharing movement. That's like a food saving movement who saved the food, which the food banks, the big ones, the established one in Germany, are not saving. And then I moved it forward because I was a lot in the media and enabled people to save food themselves, for themselves, but share it as well with their neighbors, people in the streets who don't have enough food. Also here in Germany that happens. And that was all very great. We are now more than 60,000 people in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland saving food for more than 6,000 businesses. But we calculated that when we continue with this growth rate, we need 180 years to reduce food waste by 50% in Germany. And that's our goal from the United Nations, to reduce food waste by 50% until 2030. And actually, we only have 8 years and a little bit more to massively reduce food waste, and that's why we thought we need to do something else. So I stopped my moneyless time, 5.5 years after I started, and I thought, okay, together with my co-founder Martin, what can we do to make food saving really mainstream, to get it out of the niche and to enable everyone to be part of it. And that's why we founded SIRPLUS, which is an impact startup, bringing surplus food, which actually happens on the fields because fruits and veggies are too big and too small, overproduction, etc. Ugly fruits and vegetables, but also later on because the product didn't turn out how the quality manager wanted, etc. So there's still millions of tons alone in Germany which are savable. And so we said, okay, let's save this and sell it in supermarkets and in online shop. And in Germany, I don't know where you're all from, but probably also in your regions or countries, organic food, vegan food, fair trade food has become already pretty much mainstream. It's not used by everyone, but everybody knows about it, and more people opt for these options because, like I said, every time you buy something, you're voting for this company. And so our consumption has to do something with this world. And then we started 2 years ago to open the first supermarket. We call them like Savior markets. And we opened 3 more stores. We have an online shop. We had more than 120,000 clients. And we had a lot of media attention. So I don't know, Shark Tank, that's how you call it, I think, in Canada or the US. I think originally it comes from Japan, this thing, where investors see pitches and then invest in the TV show. And tomorrow evening we are part of this. And why are we actually looking for money? Because I was living without money. I still believe the world would be better without money completely. But right now we are still living in a world where we need to pay our rent, where we need to pay other things. And what is, I think, much more important, that we choose what we do without having money in mind. So if you do something like a job, don't choose where you get the highest salary or where you have the best career chance, but choose the team, choose the vision or mission of a company or organization where you feel the most attached to and where your heart bumps every time you're able to spend your energy towards changing this world. And I think as more we do this conscious decisions where we put our energy, as more we can also transform this system, transform capitalism towards a world where everyone has enough food to eat and where all food which is produced is being eaten. And yeah, so that was a little bit the journey from being completely against money and today seeing money as a tool. So we are actually looking for impact investors. We have found impact investors. And I believe today we have billions of dollars or euros invested in normal companies and normal funds where it's not about sustainability. And we need to shift all these billions of euros and dollars into renewable energies in startups which are changing the world, transforming our system. And if we don't do it fast, then maybe we are too late and we don't know when this tipping points of our climate are reached, that it's going to become much more difficult to save us. So it's about the environment and helping others, animals and the nature, but don't forget yourself. It's also kind of a selfish thing. We want to establish a world where also future generations can thrive and do what they feel is the right thing from their heart. And so money, that's a little bit my picture to it. It's a little bit like a knife. With a knife you can chop vegetables and create a wonderful, delicious meal. But also with a knife you can harm somebody. You can harm animals, you can harm the nature, or even humans. And so if money is invested in the right thing, in something good, which creates change, then I think money is not only a part or can help, but it's needed. It's kind of the fuel towards change. And since we are all living kind of with money and not like me, 5 years without money, everyone who has also money in his hands should see it as an energy which needs to be channelized towards change in the society. And we have still some 30 minutes for some questions, and I'm looking forward if you want to know anything, and if not, I can share as well a little bit more about SIRPLUS and how we are actually saving food today.
Sounds like a great, it sounds like a great mission that you're on, to save the planet and recycle, upcycle good food that's wasted. But if people are going to invest in your vision, they also want to see that what you do is going to self-perpetuate, that it will require profitability. And if you don't have that, you're going to go out of business. So, there's an old joke, as the good book says, if you're not a profit, you're a loss. And I discovered that because I was as ideal as you.
Yeah.
But I developed a business, a vegetarian restaurant, first one in Canada in '67, and then it built up a large business after that, which is also working on the triple bottom line: people, planet, and then profit. So how are you going to make your enterprise profitable so that people who put money in your vision, they're going to see that it's going to continue to perpetuate? And that can only come about if you earn profit from it. So can you become profitable in your idealistic enterprise?
Definitely. So first of all, our current impact investor is Tim Schumacher. Everybody heard about Ecosia? Yes, so it's like Google, but like green. So they're planting trees and spending, I think, 50% or more of their profits towards reforestation and And so Tim invested in us as well because he believes that our numbers which we have in our financial plan are solid and are working. And we are actually with 250,000 euros of revenue and only 25,000 of loss currently already pretty close to break even, but we want to grow much further. And how are we going to achieve this? First of all, we started with 30 products which we saved with one partner. And today we have 600 partners where we create a win-win-win situation for the environment, for the companies who are finding a solution for their surplus, which otherwise they would pay the disposal costs. Now we pay even a little bit for it. and for sure as well for the people who go shopping in our places and gain consciousness, but also get the food cheaper and do something good for the environment. So we have today more than 600 products in our supermarkets. We are growing the number of customers in every store more and more, so the overhead costs are more and more paid as well. The stores are already profitable, but we started just the second crowdfunding campaign and already finished it for franchising. So we're going to expand the online shop. We're going to go with the franchise system throughout Germany next year, and then as well other countries. And in a next step, we're also going to create our own products, because there is so much surplus food along the way that we not only sell it in our supermarkets, but we're going to go into the normal supermarket and discounters and offer after vegan, organic, and fair trade products, safe products, as something where everybody can participate and be part of the solution. And then, we will be profitable and earn more money and can invest more money into surplus to, tackle as much as possible the food waste problem and create on the same time awareness, because every person who buys food or looks in the television or watches us gains more trust for their own senses and gets this topic in the top of the mind. Thank you for your commitment.
Sorry, I think
I can repeat the question if you just. Okay, sorry.
Thanks for your time. I'm an MBA student, and what you're doing is incredible, but I feel that we sense in the room that we are running out of time, and we need to be more impatient about bringing this change. And so for that, we need the best talent. And to attract the best talent right now, the only incentive for the most part is money. And obviously these ventures can't pay the kind of money that a consulting company or a big corporate can pay. So what metrics and what incentives do you think are necessary to attract the right talent and to also help them realize that they need to be more fast to act on this, rather than having the traditional mentality of establishing a career for yourself, reaching your 40s and 50s and making enough money and then taking the philanthropic route, because we don't have that time. We had that luxury for previous generations, but not for us. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, thank you. So first of all, I think it's very important for all of us here to do good and talk about it. So right now we are in a very big, huge transformation that actually the big corporates, they're looking more and more for people, because these people who are like maybe in my age, I'm now 36, plus and minus, they don't care if they get 10,000 euros extra bonus, a car or something. More and more people, they look for something meaningful. They're looking for mission-driven people as colleagues and leaders. And so I think right now we are already at this tipping point where also the workforce, so all the people who are working, are changing businesses, because the businesses cannot just continue as they did before, because people say just, even if you pay me more than any other impact startup, I don't want to work here, because I don't feel that my heart is committed to your mission and how you're working. And so there are in Germany several big search engines for jobs which are sustainable and impact mission driven. And so all the very huge corporations, they knock on their doors and say, could I please make a job offer there, because they are looking for these new talents. But more and more talents say, I don't care for money, I need money, and it is for sure everybody needs money here in the society, but I care even more for mission-driven jobs. So I think the huge change is already happening, and it's gaining pace every day or every month, so that the big corporates will not only change how they do economics because of the United Nations, who say, we need to reduce carbon emissions, we have the UN development goals, etc., but also because they don't find people, even if they pay them a lot. So what could you do about it? When you start a startup and you have a vision, please talk about it. Talk with the media. The media, there was just Forza, so a big research about that people who are reading about something which is, for example, sustainability, food waste and stuff, they're acting according to it. So as more people do something good and go out and share it with others so that other people in the world can start a similar business or similar organizations, and also private individuals can understand more what is their personal impact on the world, and not only waiting until the politicians and the big companies are changing, but maybe we need also much more founders who change the world, and not only wait until these big corporations that are sometimes a little bit slow change something in this world. So yeah, believe in what you're doing, share it with the people, and I can tell you they're going to be lovely people who are going to come work at your impact startup, even if you don't pay the same salary as General Electrics or other big corporates. So last question here.
Thank you. My name is Mansi. Is it on? Yes, it's on. Okay. My name is Mansi. I'm from the Netherlands and India. I have one comment and a quick question. The comment is that food is extremely central, and nobody who is not an Indian, well, if you're an Indian, you really know that. For me, food is also very much about community. And there's a very nice project in Den Haag, in The Hague, which is called Conscious Kitchen, which is very much also dealing with food waste and linking it up with community. So quoting what Marianne said this morning about when you're working with SDGs, don't just focus on one thing, make sure that it all gets connected, because food, water, community, it's really a powerful tool to get people together and, you know, jumpstart this change and transformation. So that's one. And the other question, I've become quite interested in money since recently, not to acquire it, but to more understand it, because I gave up my high-paying jobs 12 years ago to go follow my purpose. And I'm co-hosting a collective inquiry in Antwerp next month about it's just money, or is it? So I welcome you all, if whoever's interested, to talk to me later. My question is to link with how do you unravel money connected with self-worth and other things it stands for? How can we deconnect that? And how was your experience with that in the 5 years you lived without money? How did you deal with it when people say, well, oh, you have no money, you earn nothing? And women particularly face more issues with that. So I'm curious.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, first of all, I think what we should do is like really to listen to our heart, like you did it 12 years ago and said goodbye to a good job, well paid, and then look for something that you don't do it for others, but do it also for yourself. Do something where you feel good about it, and then later on, the money question, and it's not that you as impact-interested people are looking to make the most profit. So what you said, people, planet, profit, it should always be the last thing, and just trust a little bit the universe that the money will come to you as well. And for sure you have to talk about it and maybe address as well that you need money. But then I think trust is a very important factor. And for me it was something, after 5.5 years without money, I had this label which I put on my own head that I'm living without money, and I believe in a change in our system without money. But I then needed to realize, or I realized that it's actually, we don't have time to wait until everybody maybe does something completely out of money, and rather see, okay, we have this current economic system and we should hack it and transform it and say, okay, with an impact startup I can create a much bigger and faster change than waiting until all these volunteers are stepping in and to food sharing for these organizations or other organizations. And so go for something, and then as well to see that I think money is something which is very powerful, and it's something what there are more people who have money today than ever, and more people there who have this power and who have this money, they want to do something good, because they maybe don't want to start a new startup or something, but want to create something because they see it as well as a responsibility. So in Germany, in Bavaria, there's also written in the, I don't know, Grundgesetzbuch, I don't know, somebody can help me, Constitution, yeah, it's written like when you own something, it buries as well a certain responsibility. And so the same is a little bit with money. When you have money, that you need it as well to invest or let let it work in the right way, in the right direction. And so I think more and more people on all levels of our society are understanding, are becoming more conscious, and are awaking that it is really 5 minutes before 12 and we need to act today more than ever. And I hope that on the next Fridays for Future big strike, which is going to be probably in November, there are going to be not 4 million, but at least 8 or 10 million around the world. And so it is kind of a positive snowball effect, you know, that more and more people want to contribute something, and that money has a very important role in this, because it is still invested a lot in things which are not changing the world towards a more sustainable, better future, but into abusing people, planet, and animals even more. And so we need to make them as well aware that it should kind of be forbidden to not invest your money in good things, because otherwise we will not make it in the next 8 years. And I know that this restaurant, which you said in the Netherlands, that's also a very beautiful experience, because people get connected with food, and food is something emotionally. And when every time you see now a product which you want to throw away, or you have a plate which you get in a buffet and whatever, just take what you're really gonna eat, because it's like every time you buy something in a store, it's every time you put something on your plate, may it be plant-based or may it be just not so much, and then you can get more, that's no problem. But I think really to have this in mind, that every time we do something, every time we buy something, every time we consume something, it has an impact. And even if it just feels very small and you say, yeah, why should I become vegan? I mean, in China, there are every day 10,000 people who have enough money to finally eat everyday meat. But that cannot be a solution to say, yeah, everybody should change at the same time. No, it's us, everyone's self as the first mover, and then it shakes around your company, organization, and shifts the world. And I believe together we will make it. And I'm very thankful that you're spending so much time on this issue, conscious capitalism. I hope we could inspire you a little bit more. And do good things with your companies, do good things with your life. The world needs you. And thank you everyone who organized it as well. It was a pleasure to be here.